At 99 years old, Mel Brooks isn't holding anything back. The legendary comic mind behind Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein has been opening up about the complexities of his career and his personal experiences with Hollywood. In a candid revelation, Brooks shared the 5 actors he found almost impossible to work with, naming them without filters or diplomatic cover. For someone who has spent nearly a century navigating the world of comedy, Brooks's opinions carry significant weight. In a revealing conversation, he spoke about the actors who were brilliant but, for various reasons, clashed with his approach to filmmaking. Jerry Lewis, brilliant but overwhelming. The first name on Brooks's list was none other than Jerry Lewis, a man whose genius and approach to comedy were legendary. Brooks admitted that while he respected Lewis's talent, he found working with him to be exhausting. Lewis was known for his chaotic energy and his tendency to dominate every room he entered, especially on set. Brooks's desire for controlled madness didn't mesh with Lewis's improvisational style. In the mid-1980s, when Lewis was considered for a major role in Elle Finks, a social satire, Brooks shut it down immediately. He knew their working styles would clash. And he wasn't wrong. Despite a brief, awkward meeting between the two, they never collaborated professionally, as Brooks realized that their temperaments were just too different. The respect was there, but the chemistry never materialized, and their creative worlds were destined to remain separate. Gene Wilder, a lost connection. Gene Wilder's name was a bittersweet one for Mel Brooks. The two had a close, almost telepathic working relationship, particularly during the making of Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. Together, they revolutionized comedy with their unique blend of absurdity and sincerity. However, as time passed, their bond began to unravel. After Young Frankenstein, Wilder had a script he was passionate about, The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes's Smarter Brother, and he wanted Brooks to produce it. But Brooks declined, believing Wilder wasn't ready to direct. This was a decision that would later cause strain between the two. Wilder moved forward with the project, but the magic they had shared in the past was gone. Their relationship slowly deteriorated, and by the time they crossed paths again years later, it was clear that the trust that once existed was never fully restored. The creative connection that had been so vital to their previous work had faded into silence. Chevy Chase, too egotistical for Brooks. Mel Brooks's list of challenging actors continued with Chevy Chase, a comic force who made his mark in the 1980s and 90s. While Chase's razor-sharp humor and quick wit seemed like a perfect fit for Brooks's films, the two never collaborated. Brooks saw in Chase a self-absorption that clashed with his own values of ensemble work and collaborative spirit. For Brooks, comedy was all about generosity, about actors who could hit a punchline and then hand the rhythm off to someone else. Chase, on the other hand, had a tendency to dominate, to wait for everyone else to stop talking so he could remind them he was the smartest person in the room. Brooks was unimpressed with this behavior and turned down every opportunity to cast Chase, even for a role in Spaceballs. He chose Rick Moranis instead, a choice that reflected his belief in the importance of timing, humility, and collaboration. For Brooks, comedy wasn't about ego, it was about creating a rhythm and flow that benefited the entire ensemble. Harvey Corman, a brilliant disruptor. Harvey Corman, known for his role in The Carol Burnett Show, was another actor whose brilliance came with significant friction when working with Mel Brooks. Corman's improvisational style, which thrived in the loose atmosphere of The Carol Burnett Show, did not mesh with the meticulous and structured approach Brooks had on set. This tension reached a boiling point during the filming of High Anxiety, where Corman, cast as Dr. Montague, insisted on improvising lines and altering the script. Brooks, known for his precision in comedy, shut this down immediately, insisting that the script had already written the funny parts. This created an undercurrent of tension on set that was palpable to everyone involved, but there was no public fallout. While Corman's performance in High Anxiety was brilliant, the relationship between him and Brooks never fully recovered. They never worked together again, as Brooks valued harmony and structure in a way that Corman's improvisational style disrupted. Frank Langella, too serious for comedy. Frank Langella, known for his commanding presence on stage, had a difficult time fitting into the comedic world that Mel Brooks created. When Langella was cast as Dracula in Dracula, Dead and Loving It, Brooks had hoped to bring a touch of chaos to the character, using Langella's stature to deliver humor through absurdity. However, Langella's approach was far too serious for Brooks's vision. Langella delivered every line with the gravitas of Shakespeare, while Brooks wanted a Dracula who could slip on a rug and create slapstick moments. Despite efforts to steer Langella towards a more comedic interpretation, the two were clearly in different creative universes. The final straw came when Langella asked if he should mock the text, to which Brooks replied, "No, I want you to survive it." At that point, Brooks realized the two would never be able to create the comedy he envisioned, and Langella quietly left the project. The role was recast with Leslie Nielsen, whose deadpan humor fit Brooks's vision perfectly. Conclusion: collaboration over ego. What all of these actors had in common, according to Mel Brooks, was that they couldn't quite fit into his world of comedy, where collaboration and timing were key. While each of them possessed immense talent, they also brought egos and individual approaches that disrupted the delicate balance Brooks relied on. For Brooks, comedy was never about one person shining brighter than the others. It was about creating something bigger than any individual performance. The clash of personalities, the dominance of ego, and the refusal to adapt to the ensemble spirit all made working with these actors challenging. Brooks didn't necessarily dislike any of them personally. He simply found that their creative processes were incompatible with his own. For him, the joy of comedy lay in collaboration, not in fighting for the spotlight. And in his world, that was a non-negotiable principle.